Our college made us do what they called an elective. So it was an extra module you had to do outside of your degree, which it didn't count towards anything, but it was just something extra you were made to do. And because it didn't count towards our degree, because it wasn't related to our degree, I always saw it as a waste of time and was always against doing it. But we were given a list of subjects to choose from for it. And I'm looking down this list and I saw photography. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be made to do this thing that I don't want to do, at least photography will be a bit of fun. So I chose photography. Now, I'd never done photography before. I'd never picked up a proper serious camera before. So I remember picking up the film camera for the first time and playing about with it and learning how it works. Pardon the pun, but I just like clicked with it straight away and just fell in love with it straight away. And anyway, it got towards the end of the second year, and obviously it gets to the end of the year, you've got a lot of deadlines, end of year deadlines, having to get everything completed before the end of the year. So because this photography module didn't count towards my degree, obviously very busy time of the year, I thought the sensible thing to do would be to focus on my work and my actual degree and make sure I completed all of that, get all that handed in on time, get it done as best as I could. So that's what I did, and as a result I didn't manage to get the photography module completed. Now obviously because it was film, it was quite difficult because you had to actually go into the lab when the lab was open in order to do it. It wasn't just like a case of sitting up all night to do an essay. So I didn't manage to get it done. Now I didn't think it would matter because it didn't count towards my degree anyway, so I didn't think it would be a big deal. But when the year finished, I discovered that they weren't going to allow me back onto the third and final year of my degree because I hadn't completed this extra module which didn't count towards anything, and I don't know of any colleges which force you to do an extra module anyway. So I was kind of like really surprised by that, really taken aback. And when I was telling other people at the college that they weren't letting me back for the final year, no one else could believe it either, because in my whole time being at that college, and other people who had been there longer than me as well, no one had known anyone to fail because of this elective. I don't think they'd ever failed anyone because of it up until that point. So it really felt like they were just kind of like making an example of me. I don't know why. I spent all summer long appealing the decision. I made phone calls all summer long, I wrote letters, I went to the principal, and they just weren't interested. So we got towards the end of the summer, probably about 2 weeks before the final year was due to start, and I sort of realised this is it. They're just not interested at all. They're not going to allow me back under any circumstances, and it really, really, really sucked. You know, I've spent the last few years sort of dedicating my life to this. I've done 2 years doing the national diploma, another 2 years working on the degree. And when you do 2 years on a degree, you're not allowed back on the final year, so you're not getting the qualification at the end of it, despite putting in all this time and effort. That was obviously really shitty. And then on top of that as well, I was living in student accommodation, so I was obviously relying on my student loan to be able to pay my rent and pay my bills and everything. Obviously that student loan then didn't come in, so I couldn't afford to pay my rent, and I was then having to sign on and claim benefits for the first time in my life. And I was just a bit stuck, and I suddenly found myself in this position, and I was like, crap, what do I do now? I've got no qualifications, I can't afford to pay my rent, and I was really stuck, and I just didn't know what to do. But obviously the one good thing about it, And the reason why I don't regret any of it, and the reason why, in a strange kind of way, it's actually sort of like the best thing that happened to me, is because if it wasn't through that photography module, which, you know, like I say, I only chose photography because I thought it would be fun. I didn't want to do that extra module initially to begin with anyway, but if it wasn't for that, I would never have found this thing in life that I'm really passionate about, and that is like my biggest love in life. I can't imagine my life now without photography, and if it wasn't for that thing at college, I would probably never have discovered it. It's a strange thing how it's all kind of happened. But the other thing as well is that, like I say, earlier on in my life, I always thought of myself as being more academically minded, and obviously this course at college was media production. Like I say, it was predominantly making videos and that kind of thing. So obviously, naturally, that's a very creative course. So naturally, I became more creative just through doing that. But still in my head, I never really thought of myself as being creative. We kind of define ourselves, like even early on in life, we define ourselves about who we are and the kind of person we are. And we tell ourselves these stories about what we can and can't do and things like that. And I had it in my head that I was this particular person. And through doing this photography module and now continuing to do photography from that, I'm so far away from being the kind of person that I thought I was, and the kind of person I never ever thought I would be, and that I never ever thought I would be creative. Like, that is 100% me. Like, I make these YouTube videos because I love being creative. Even when I'm just sort of flying my drone and I'm just taking photos or videos with my drone, even when it's just for fun, I'm doing that just because I love being creative. And yeah, it's crazy that, to me now, looking back on everything, it's crazy to me that I never thought of myself as being a creative person, because now that is 100% how I would describe myself. I can't imagine being anything other than creative. If you took away photography and any means of creativity, if you took all of that away from me, I honestly don't know what I would do with my life. I'd be lost, I'd be stuck. So I guess there's sort of like 2 points from this video. One is just the story of me, my time at college, how I found photography. And second point is just, even just to anyone watching this, it's just like, don't like define yourself. Don't have this story in your head about the type of person you are, what you can do, what you can't do, who you are, who you aren't. Because a lot of the times it's not even necessarily true. Like, through my own experience, I discovered that the true me was like so different to who I initially thought I was. And I'm, again, because of my experience at college, I'm so pleased that happened, because it has allowed me to find out who I really am. And yeah, the fact that I never ever thought of myself as being creative, it's yeah, like I say, that is just absolutely who I am now. And, you know, for many years, even still when I was in my early 20s, I still didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And then through sort of chance, I tried photography and realized that was the thing I wanted to do with my life. So I don't have like the usual story of picking up a camera at 5 years old and instantly knowing that was what I wanted to do. But that's my story, and that's why, although I still to this day think I was harshly treated by my college, really, I still don't regret any moment of it. and still it has been one of the best things that's happened to me, because I have found out who I am and I have found out what I want to do with my life. And yeah, I guess for that I am very, very grateful. So that's kind of like my story. That's how I found photography. That's how everything kind of came together. So I hope you found that interesting and maybe even inspiring. But yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions or any comments or anything on any of that, then of course just put them in the comments and I'll respond and get back to you. So other than that, just thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.